Goodbye my old projector setup. In this video, I'm gonna take my old setup down and make a new one for my Apollo P40 projector. Now, I already made an unboxing and review video, so if you haven't watched that, do check it out. I'll link it now somewhere in the video. But hey, come back once you're done watching that. So, I'm gonna have to change the placement of the mount, as the placement now is too far for the new projector, meaning the image has to be shrunk, which degrades quality, so this will come down. So the first thing to do will be to take out the wires from the wire hiders, and I'm just gonna undo everything, and this is coming off after about 4.5 years of use, and it has served me well. I had a fire stick attached to one of the HDMI ports, another HDMI for a gaming console, so it was a good setup. But the new projector actually doesn't have two HDMI cables, so I'm gonna do something different this time, and I'll tell you what once we get there. So this is what the setup looks like. Now I'll loosen the two bolts with an Allen key and take the old projector off, and once that's done, the next step is to take the wire hiders off, because the new placement would be somewhere around here and I need the space. And yeah, taking these off rips apart the paint, but here's how you fix it. The first thing I did was put some tape around the area, and I'm gonna use a putty to fill up some of the damage that's a bit too much to fix just cosmetically with paint. Take some of that compound out and then apply it very evenly. And after the compound's on comes the worst part of the job, which is sanding. So I'm just working with what I got. I did not have a professional sanding tool which collects all that dust from it, so what I'm doing here is actually vacuuming all the dust that I can collect, so the cleanup job is a bit simplified. And once you've sanded the spot into a smooth surface, we're ready to paint. Now I'm just doing gentle brush strokes, trying to keep it in one direction, no pun intended. But yeah, that's about all. There's not much to it. Now once the wall is all repaired, dried up, and looking good as new, what I did was I turned the projector on and just held it in my hands to almost eyeball the placement of the mount. And a rule of thumb that I follow is going a little further back so the image is a little bigger than I would actually intend it to be, because I can shrink it down but I can't size it up, so that's what I try to do. And once I've got a spot, I'm just gonna put the mount there and try to level it, so just making sure that it's straight, it's not crooked or anything. And I personally wanted to keep it in line with the wire hiders so it looks aesthetically pleasing, and then just start drilling. And once you're done drilling holes, you're gonna take whatever wall anchors that you have. I like to use these little T-shaped wall anchors from a company called Toggler. Now, the cool thing about these is that you sort of pinch them into a single line and then you hammer them in. Once they're in, you use this little pin thing and you try to open these inside the drywall. And then when you screw in, it actually sort of expands and holds the anchor very firmly into place. These are better than basically every other plastic wall anchor out there. Attaching the mount to the new projector. You might have to work around with the placement of the arms, but it's a simple placement process. Now when the projector is on the mount, I am going to turn it on before I tighten the bolts, because I'll make sure that the projector is actually centered into the screen. I'll turn it on and then I will go on focus it and do some keystone adjustments, and that's it. There you have it. And once you've adjusted everything, you tighten all the bolts, and you're gonna have to do some fine tuning, but that's really it. It's gonna hold in place. And after that, all that's left is some wire management. What you could do is sort of secure these wires together, or I had a wire sleeve, so that's what I'm gonna put on. It just looks a bit nicer, but any sort of cable clips will do as well. And the rest of the wire I'm just gonna shove into the wire hiders and just close those in. So this is what I ended up doing. I ordered a bunch of different wires from Amazon, a couple 90-degree ones for the projector and Google Chromecast so they don't stick out as much. I affixed the HDMI splitter this way, so whenever I need to change to another input, all I have to do is press the button and that's it. It switches instantly without having to touch the projector or ruin your picture placement effort and whatnot. And for the Chromecast, I made this sort of contraption. It's a little wire clip with adhesive on the back stuck to the wall and a little Velcro cable strap that's holding the Chromecast. So if I ever need to take it off, all I need to do is simply undo the Velcro and that's it. And I had to make some side holes in the wire hiders to stick the wires out so they look a bit nice and sort of in place. And that's about it. I think it looks simple, it's functional, so I'm happy. I think it looks nice. And that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. And if you thought this was helpful in any way, do like and subscribe. That helps me out a lot.